as kids, we all latch on to something, like a symbol or just something that seems cool to us. You know, maybe a brother, maybe a fatherly figure, whatever it may be to you, a mother, a sister, however it may be applied to you. Kids tend to go towards superheroes, you know, because they're cool. You know, they got these superpowers that you can't have in normal life. So I want to be a superhero, and I want to save people and kick ass and be so cool and have these amazing costumes. They're right. But for me, I stuck to one superhero. I never went in and out of a phase or anything. There are a lot of superheroes that mean a lot to me. You know, like, for example, Nightwing and Batman. They mean a lot to me. But the one superhero that means a lot to me, and I don't mean just like, oh, he's cool, he's pretty awesome, is, well, actually, I'm not being subtle about it at all, am I? Spider-Man, if you haven't caught it already. And I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, I'm not gonna go through his origin story. This isn't that type of video. And the title was not deceiving. He did save my life, and I'll tell you how in a minute. So I'm gonna tell you what he means to me, why I like him, why he's so important to me, and why I still like him. I'm 18 at this point. Well, a young OP, at a ripe age of 4, used to watch, the first movie that I ever watched actually was the Raimi movies, Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 3 hadn't come out at the time, but I loved those movies so much. And after watching those, I discovered the 90s cartoon. And then I discovered the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon. And then I read the comics. Because I do read the comics, I still do. Don't think I'm just one of those people, I like the movies, I'm a number one Spider-Man fan. It's way deeper than that. You see, Spider-Man is this scrawny, before he became Spider-Man, he was this scrawny, nerdy, below average, unpopular person. He wasn't 13 or 14 or 15 as is generally thought. He was more of a late teen, young adult type of phase, but whatever it may be, he was this unpopular kid. He was this nerdy kid. He didn't have a lot of friends, if any, and he didn't know his parents. He was living with his aunt and uncle, and they weren't exactly the best financially. He wasn't living the best life, but he was rolling along with it. The spider bite happened, and he gained this boost of confidence, this spark, right? The Uncle Ben situation happened. I'm not going to bore you with the details about the origin story. And then he became Spider-Man. Every superhero had that Uncle Ben, had that spark that made them superheroes. The thing about Spider-Man is that he is this superhero who does these amazing things, these amazing feats, yet he's still that kid on the inside. I mean, he has to balance his superhero life with his normal life. He has to focus on his grades, be it college or school. He has to sell photos to the Bugle in order to help Aunt May, because after Ben's death, there isn't a steady income to the Parker household at all. So he has to worry about that. He has to worry about paying rent. He has to worry about caring for his aunt. He has to worry about girls, because he has girl problems. Obviously, he's human. You know, he has all these normal person problems. He has these superhero problems, obviously, but his normal life problems are still there. And that's something which I always have found and always will find so amazing, because yes, he is this wonderful character, but he's still this kid on the inside, a normal person on the inside. And that normal part of him, the fact that he was like me as a kid, because I was a chubby kid. I wasn't fat, but I was chubby and I was taller than everyone else. I always felt so different, and Spider-Man was different. He felt different when he didn't have the powers. And he was a normal kid like me. He was below average like me. So I figured if he could do it, I can do it. I didn't think much about there being a radioactive spider bite in the equation and superpowers and what have you. Probably should have, actually. Yeah, that was a mistake. I mean, I didn't jump off a building or anything, but I stuck up for myself. Because what Spider-Man symbolizes, even though he is this normal character as well, he symbolizes hope, bravery, courage. He symbolizes always getting back up, no matter how hard you're hit, no matter how many times you fall, always getting back up. And that's something very important. That's not utopic at all, because everyone gets up, no matter how hard they get hit. Some people stay down, and some people go down a very dark path when they stay down. And it's very hard to want to stay down there and rest for longer than you should. Every now and then you will get hit, and you will be like, I'm just going to take a second to breathe. We all have been there. But you have to get back up. You have to. If you stay down there, you're going to go somewhere you're not going to want to go. You're going to end up in a place which you don't want to be. Getting back up is so important. And it's not this utopic idea. It's not a utopic at all. It's as simple as in sports. If you get knocked down, you get back up to continue playing, because if you don't, you lose. It's as simple as that. And maybe sometimes as complicated as depression and mental health, And if you are dealing with that, even though you are in quarantine, even though you can't go out, you can always call a therapist. Have phone appointments, however it may be. Do not neglect yourself, even though you are in quarantine. Sorry, I had to go on that segue because I had to address that point. That's what he symbolized to me. So I stood up for myself. I stood up for myself, and I started making myself. I started becoming me. And I've come a long way since then, and I'm still got a long way to go. But without that character, without who he was, without who he is, I wouldn't have become this. Without him existing at all, actually. I would have probably gone a very dark path, because as a kid, when you're bullied, you don't know how to express it. You don't know what's going on. You don't know how bad it is to not express the fact that you're being bullied, or to not tell people. And sometimes you don't even know you're being bullied. You don't know what it's called. And that's what's so dangerous about a kid. And I had Spider-Man. I had a lot of other factors. Don't think that I didn't have any parents that cared for me, or a loving family. I did. But this character, he saved my life, because without him, he gave me that spark. He was my Uncle Ben. He gave me my spark. And I stood up for myself. And that's what I mean by he saved my life. I took the initiative to save my life 100%. He lit a light where I didn't notice there was a problem. And he lent a hand. Because I didn't tell anyone what was going on, but he knew, because he was in my head. So he extended an arm, and he picked me back up. And then I learned that I had to get back up no matter how many times I fell. I'm not going to bore you too much. This isn't going to go on for much longer, but there is this one line which Miles says at the end of Into the Spider-Verse, a beautiful movie, a magnificent movie. I love that movie so much. Miles says at the end, anyone can wear the mask. You can wear the mask. And you can look at it as, it's just encouragement to kids that you can be Spider-Man, woo! I took it as something deeper. And not because I think more than I should, and it's not because I'm going deeper than I should. I'm pretty sure that's what the writers meant by it. We all have our inner demons. Spider-Man has villains around him, and he physically fights them. But we have much tougher villains. We have our inner demons. We have the shit that goes on up here, which we don't want to tell anyone about. Maybe sometimes a personal conflict. Maybe someone else's. Maybe it's a physical person who you have problems with. Anyone can wear the mask means that anyone can be their own hero. Because you can help others. You should help others. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but you can't teach others how to ride a bike if you yourself can't ride a bike. So you gotta be your own hero. You gotta be your own Spider-Man. You gotta wear that mask and fight for yourself. Afterwards, you maybe help others. That wouldn't be wrong at all. But the most important person in the room at all times is you, and don't ever forget that. No matter how important the other people around you are, or you think they are, you're always the most important person. So you have to be your own hero, to stand up for yourself, wear the mask, be your own superhero. And I think that's what they meant by the end. So that's what this character means to me. He means a lot more, but I can't fit it all in one video. I can't overload it with so much thoughts. Okay, so that's basically what he means to me. That's what I mean by he saved my life. He did. He really did. I took the initiative again, but he lit that. He had that spark. He was my spark. And he still is. And I still fight to this day because of him. And other factors, obviously. But because of this character. Because of what he symbolizes. Because of what he keeps reminding me to do is get back up. Thank you for watching. Well, hit like if you liked. Maybe even subscribe. Stay safe. Peace.